What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Turbo John, and we are working on the hot rod. We've been working on the hot rod all week. It's one of those things. It's part of racing. Things happen, things break, and you either throw in the towel and stop, or you just keep throwing money at it and keep trying to get it fixed and go drag racing. That's what we choose to do. It's our passion. We enjoy it. We have a good time, but sometimes it does cost. Luckily, last weekend, we were able to win a little bit of money. So that really helped this week when we had to spend everything we won plus some to hopefully get the car back going. Let me show you what happened. If you didn't watch the last couple of videos, we did end up breaking a lifter, killed the camshaft, and then obviously there's always collateral damage. So let me show you what we found so far. Check it out. Comment, like, and subscribe. And if y'all want to support the channel, make sure you share this. Go to our website, turbojohnracing.com. We have new t-shirts out with the new hot rod on it. And an update for you guys too, everybody that ordered t-shirts on Randy's, those were pre-orders. We're getting those printed now. So we're going to have them beginning of the week. So you guys that ordered the Pro Mod Randy shirts, y'all will have them hopefully by the end of this coming week, by next Thursday or Friday is our game plan. So hopefully that's going to work out. Sorry for the delay, but they were pre-ordered. We took orders till March 31st, and then we placed the order right after that. Check it out, guys. Everything's off of it, except for we have a short block here. We got crank rods and pistons in the engine. This is the lifter that failed, and you can see this was in pretty bad shape. Now, why it failed, I mean, I don't know. Lifters fail all the time. There's a couple scenarios, things that we were thinking about maybe caused it, but it failed, wiped out the camshaft. The camshaft, if y'all have not seen Daniel Powell's YouTube, it is Powell Machine. He's out of South Carolina. He is actually grinding us a camshaft, and he's going to fix my old one. So go check out his YouTube channel, real good, smart machinist. Tell him Turbo John sent you over there. I'd appreciate it. He's hooking us up, so that is really good. I appreciate him working us in and getting it done for us. But got the heads off of it. That head over there was kind of a pain in the butt. I didn't think about it, but that firewall thing right there, had to take out the tall studs. But once we got the tall studs out, we could get that thing out. Cam bearings look good. Something else we did is on this block, I don't know if you remember, if you saw where we actually built this thing, there's oil restrictors back there, and they had 90 thousandths holes in them. We opened those up to 110 thousandths, so we're going to get a little bit more oil pressure. We also shimmed our oil pump. The pressure relief valve is right there, so I put a shim in that to try to get it so that it will give us a little bit more oil pressure. I mean, we had a decent amount of oil pressure, but it wasn't superb. Oil pan had a lot of metal in it. But there are two magnetic drain plugs on here, and both of those had a ton of metal shavings on it. So I think that's where most of the metal went. Something else we did, we went ahead and welded bungs on here. One is going to be a quick drain valve. I'm gonna when I put the pan on here, when the pan is under the bottom, it's real difficult. You got to drop it. It's kind of aggravating to get the catch pan, the belly pan on and off. So I've got a hose that I'm going to run with a valve, and basically it'll just make it so I can change the oil more frequently. We cleaned everything. I'm not going to take the short block apart. We do have an oil filter. So if you think about the metal, the way the metal works is the metal, if it goes down, it's heavy, it sinks to the bottom. If it gets sucked up into the oil pump, then the first stop from the oil pump is the filter. And so I think the filter, when I looked in the filter on the inside, there was nothing in there. I did not cut the filter open. There was no bearing material anywhere in the pan. The only thing was in there was fine shavings of metal. There was no rod bearings. There was no main bearings, no thrust. That stuff looks completely different when you break it. So that was okay. So one of the things that we think happened, that I'm hypothesizing, look, that wing also works out for a really good workbench back there. So one of the things we saw a couple problems here. So problem number one, when I went taking off the valves, when I went to take off take the springs off, and so these two were exhaust. This was number 2, and then this was number 4. So I started noticing, I was like, well, this is looking really funny all of a sudden. So I started investigating, and the rocker, the rocker arm was pushing on the retainer, and that's how you get a drop valve. That is exactly how a valve drops if something happens, and then the rocker arm starts pushing on the retainer instead of the valve tip, and it was pushing it down probably 20 thousandths or so maybe, and then it would go to the tip. But so that is how you lose, that's how you drop a valve. So basically what will happen is it pushes down, cocks it sideways, and it unlocks, and then you're in trouble. So this is some of the parts and pieces. So these are, obviously you can see the used valves here. We got 3 of them here. Let's see, this was number 4, so this is one of the problem ones. So if you look at that. I don't know if you can notice, but the valve is below the retainer. So that's number 4. This is number 2. So number 4 and number 2, that was the ones that were having the problem. So now the tip is down. So this is the way the rest of them look. This is number 3 on the opposite head. And you notice that one is up just a tad. It's up enough though so that it doesn't hit. So I started looking, I started doing some investigating, and when I pulled it off, now these are packed titanium retainers. I don't know the shelf life on these things. I don't know how often you're supposed to replace them, but there's actually a date on them, and they were from 2015. So I think that is actually the retainer right there that was getting bumped. See how it's all wore out right there on the side? It is very, very, you can tell where the rock arm was hitting. The rock arm doesn't have any damage. But these were from 2015, so I decided I might want to replace those. And so something else I did, these are cam retainers. These are titanium retainers as well. And I got to have titanium because it's a triple valve spring that we're putting on it. It had a triple valve spring on it. This is the part number of the retainers, 7916. Notice we got all intake valves. We got all 8 new intake valves. We got a whole set of exhaust valves as well. So these are Inconel valves. I don't know if these are stainless steel. They look the same, but these are Inconels. You know, they're twice the money as a stainless steel. Very expensive valves, but it is what it is. So this is the new retainer. I also got a -50 offset for the retainer. And so you can see how much taller, how much more valve exposure we got here above that. So I don't have both hands, but if you look how tight that is down in there versus these. See how that retainer, the keeper is coming out. And I don't know if it's a bad keeper or if it's bad retainer, but also these wobble. Like I can move these on the valve, whereas these lock down really, really tight. So I don't know, y'all tell me in the comments, how often do you replace locks and retainers? I don't know if that's something that is like clearly it's a wear item, but is it something, I know Beater Bomb Joey, he was talking about changing springs every 100 passes or so. But I wonder if he changes the lifters, the retainers and the locks at the same frequency. This is the locks I got. They're just Crower hardened. All right, check this out. Look how loose this is. Man, you can't really see it. But so it's like locked up in there, but it moves a tremendous amount. It is insane how much it actually moves. Versus this is the new one. It doesn't move any at all. Check this out too. Let me show you this right here. I want to show you the difference between the locks. Obviously there's a little bit different. The retainers on the top side, but look at the bottom side on how much bigger that hole is versus this one. It's wild, man. And they're both 10-degree lock. Look at the difference. That is huge. That is huge. And wow. So I think the retainers are just wore out. I think the retainers are a wear item. I'm gonna do more research on that. And the reason we went with the -50 offset, because we're going to end up setting these things up at about a 2-inch installed height. So we want about 300 pounds on the seat, maybe just a little bit less, a little bit more, probably just a tad more than 300 probably. I need to get with Daniel and see exactly what he recommends. on the spring pressure since he is grinding us a cam. But what we're going to do, we're going to get a set of pack springs, either the 1247s or 1246s, I think it is. And that's going to be the right ones for our pressure. The reason I got this offset though, because if you notice, so these were set up, these are all the shims that were under the cups. So they're pretty thick. They're 50, usually they had about 90 thousandths. They had a thick one and a thin one stacked together. So number 2, now we broke number 4, but number 2, notice that cup right there. So y'all remember we had the parts and pieces. The parts and pieces that were in the valve cover, here it is. So that was part of the spring cup. Now we've ordered spring cups, but they're not going to get here. For the spring cups, they're not going to be here for a little while. They got to come straight from AFR. But let me show you when they set this head up. And so this is generally the way you set up most heads, right? So you have the valve pocket on the heads down here. You have the valve pocket, and then you put the shims under the cup. And then it pops right there. That's how you adjust your seat pressures. That's how you adjust your installed height. Now, it's very important also, they talk about spring surge. Now, I'm not a machinist, and I know just a little bit about it. But you want to be about 50 thousandths before coil bind at max lift. So Jerry, when he had his camshaft was 850 max lift. My camshaft was only 770. So my camshaft was 70 thousandths smaller than his. Right? So I thought about it, and then it just kind of went out my head. I didn't think about it. What I probably should have done is shimmed up these to take a little more clearance out of them. So the installed height was shrunk. So he had them set up so he had about 50 thousandths before coil bind, which is about where you want. 40, 50, 60 thousandths is ideal from what it sounds like. And so when we added 70 thousandths less lift, now we have 120 thousandths. So go on YouTube when you get a chance. You're on YouTube now, but if you type in valve springs on a valve springs in slow motion, you can see they surge. There's some really good videos out there, like on Spintron with slow motion cameras. And this thing, as it compresses, it's bouncing as it's compressing. And so the closer you get it to coil bind, apparently it takes the bounce out, so it's more controlled. And so I think what happened, one of the things is that extra 120 thousandths. 120 thousandths is a lot. I mean, 120 thousandths is 2 of these. That's about 120 thousandths. So that is a lot of not pressing down on the spring. So maybe that's one of our issues as well. So maybe it was surging, and that's what caused these to kind of rattle on these. Don't know if that killed the lifter, possibly, because it's harmonics going through the push rod, right? So the push rod is on there. So we were running 3/8 push rods as well. Talking with Daniel and a couple other people, they strongly recommend we get 7/16 push rods in there. So that's what we're going to try to do. That means we're going to probably have to grind on the head some to get it in there. But wanted to beat the problems on number 2. So this spring is 1.645 inches. This spring cup is 1.65 inches. These shims right here are 1.5 inches. So you see, this is the spring cup for number 2 here. And if you notice, so all the spring pressure was gone on this, but it's kind of hard to see it. But this is collapsed. Yeah, you can see it on that side. So essentially, it was like a pedestal, right? Because those small shims were on, you can see where they were right here. And the spring was all the way to the outside edge. Now, these cups are hardened, but it was not able to withstand that force, and it started breaking off and chipping off. And that's what it did, and that's exactly what we saw. So that was from the number 2, not from number 4. So that's what's really weird. I don't understand. It might be completely unrelated and just happened at the same time. I don't know. Maybe a piece of this chunked off, went down there and got caught in between the wheel of the lifter, and that's what stopped the wheel from turning. Possibly. I don't know. What come first, chicken or egg? So what we're going to do now, I got some new hardened shims, but these are bigger. These are the big ones. These are 1.64 diameter. So they're bigger. They're not 1.5. So what I'm going to do when I put this back together to get my shim, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cups down in the head. That's going to be flat against the head surface. And then I'm going to put, hopefully, just one 60,000 shim in here to get me where my clearance is proper. And so the spring will be sitting right there. And then we'll still have the spring cup for the locating. And we'll still have that too, so that it protects the head as well. So the one that we broke, and there's another one that's cracked over on the side. Those two right now just won't have the cups, but they'll have the hardened shims just stacked on there. And then as soon as I get the new cups, then we'll put those in. So that is the game plan. So that is the game plan with the heads. We got all new valves, like I was saying, new exhaust valves, new intake valves. Number 2 and number 4 exhaust valves were actually bent up here at the top. They come out of the guide, but it was not super easy. So they're bent just a little bit. Like I said, stainless steel intake valves, not titanium, so we don't need lash caps. Inconel exhaust valves. And these may be Inconels. I'm going to throw those 2 away on number 2 and number 4. And then that way I can throw these caps away too. But that was very interesting. The heads seemed to be fine otherwise. No issues with the heads. So just got to clean those up. And then I'm going to lap the valves in. Another thing that I found, the reason we did all the intake valves. Which one was it? It's going to be hard to see regardless. But one of them is cracked. This one right here is cracked. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in. So right there, oh man, you can't really see it. I'm not gonna be able to get it real good enough. But trust me, you can see right there where that reflection is. Right up from that, you can see the little crack. And it cracks all the way to the face and up the stem. So that was probably fixing to be an issue. That was fixing to be a major issue. It was fixing to drop. We almost dropped 2 exhaust valves and we almost dropped 1 intake valve. I assumed it was going to crack and eventually break completely. But I don't know. So I just wanted to give you guys an update real quick. It is now Friday night. So we've been working on this thing all week. It's getting really close to having all the parts and pieces to put it back together. Got to get springs. I was on the fence on changing the springs. I mean, the springs are $500. I mean, so it's like, okay, well, maybe we can run them a little while longer. It's just not smart. It's not the smart thing to do where we're at. So we're going to go ahead and get the springs. They'll be here probably Tuesday. And then by that point, I'll have the heads cleaned. I'll have the valves lapped in. I'll have all the installed height set up where I want it. And then once the springs get here, it'll be just a matter of slapping the springs on the heads. And then the heads will be ready to go. Hopefully about the same time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if the camshaft and lifters have shipped out yet, but hopefully I'll have the lifters and the camshaft, and then we'll be getting started reassembling this thing. So we got lucky. We got lucky that we killed a lifter and we didn't hurt the rest of it. And I think we're going to be in good shape. You never can tell. It's a race car. We got new head gaskets coming, Clark head gaskets. I am going to go with a little bit thicker head gasket. These were 60,000, so I'm going to put 70s on it just to kind of give me a little bit less compression. It has a lot of compression. And I know we're fixing to start throwing the boost of this thing, so I want to just calm it down a little bit. It's not going to be a lot, but just a little bit. We got to get new push rods anyway, so it should work out. 7/16. These lifters, I'm putting BAM lifters in it. They're 300 thousandths taller than the ones that were in it. So we got to get push rods anyway. So it is what it is. All right, guys. Well, we are done. Well, I'm not done. I'm going to keep working. I'll be out here working for a couple more hours. But I just wanted to give you guys an update. Comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see y'all soon. Appreciate it.